Breaking news just coming in. It's an India Today exclusive. After being taken off the FATF grey list, Jaish-E-Mohammed has started regrouping. An undercover investigation by India Today now reveals that the group responsible for several terror attacks in India, including the hijacking of Indian Airlines plane, if you remember, in 1999, the 2001 attack on the Indian Parliament, and the Pathankot attack of 2016, has now renewed its annual fund collection drive, seeking to build hundreds of new mosques all over Pakistan. Open call for donation by the supposedly banned terror outfit in Pakistan, right under the nose of Bilawal Bhutto's government. This comes weeks after the country exited the grey list of global terror finance watchdog, the Financial Action Task Force, or the FATF.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
वालेकुम सलाम रहमतुल्लाहि व बरकातुहू।
भाईजान, आपका नाम क्या है?
हेलो जी, मेरा नाम इमरान खान।
इमरान खान?
इमरान मोहम्मद। हाँ,
अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह। भाईजान, आप पाकिस्तान में कहाँ से ताल्लुक़ रखते हैं?
पेशावर से।
पेशावर से, अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह। और इंशाल्लाह जैश से मेरा बहुत दिल से लगाव है और मैंने काफ़ी पहले मदद भी दी है, ज़कात पहले भी दिया है दोस्तों के हस्ते। तो भाईजान, मेरे को काफ़ी सुकून मिला और काफ़ी वो खुशी हुई कि वापस इंशाल्लाह जो है अल्लाह के हुक्म से कामकाज शुरू हुआ है। तो मैंने भी मैसेज देखा था, ग्रुप के अंदर मैसेज देखा था कि बन रहा है। तो भाईजान, अगर इसकी इजाज़त हो तो क्या मैं अपनी तरफ से और भी भाइयों से ज़कात लेकर आपको दे सकता हूँ? इसकी इजाज़त है इसकी?
हाँ रहे।
जी,
हम खुद भी अभी चंदे कर रहे हैं, जगह जगह गाँव चलते हैं।
आप मेरे को अगर थोड़ा सा डिटेल्स वगैरह इसकी बता दें कि कहाँ कहाँ पर भी बनना है, अभी कहाँ बनने वाली, किस किस जगहों पर है, थोड़ा अगर इसके बारे में।
अभी पेशावर में भी है, आपको कल मैं डिटेल बताऊंगा जहाँ जहाँ भी बन रहे, लेकिन जहाँ भी बन रहे हम अपने गांव में भी बना रही है, अपनी अजला में भी बना रही है, सुबह भर में भी है और पाकिस्तान भर में भी, हर जगह वो अपनी अपनी तंजीमें है, वहाँ बन रही है।
Ankit Kumar, who's breaking the story and getting us this exclusive undercover investigation, is now joining us on this broadcast. Ankit, what have been your findings through this investigation? Jaish-E-Mohammed clearly out there collecting funds, donations. What does your investigation suggest?
Well, Chaiti, let's first go through how we conducted this investigation. We have been monitoring the social media network of operatives who are linked to Jaish-E-Mohammed. What we have found in recent weeks is that there have been a lot of chatter around new mosques being constructed by the banned terror outfit Jaish-E-Mohammed, which is banned even in Pakistan under Pakistan government rules. Now, we have been monitoring some of the WhatsApp groups which were very active. There have been multimedia messages being posted showing that new mosques are being constructed. Remember, every year Jaish-E-Mohammed announces this drive of constructing new mosques. They give a particular number. It's 313 mosques. So we consulted with an expert who helped us in masking our numbers, projecting Saudi Arabia, UAE, and even London-based numbers, and we spoke to some of the operatives. Those operatives provided us precise details as to how they were collecting funds. They provided us the bank account numbers, they provided us the cities where the projects were being done. This is not as per se only for construction of mosques. This is a very old module of how Jaish-E-Mohammed collects funds in Pakistan,
right,
which is now
Ankit,
used
we also
against
have
India.
Prashant Sareen, who is joining us on this broadcast. I'm coming back to you on your entire investigation. Remember, Ankit is the one who's conducted this investigation. This is exclusive. These are several explosive revelations that are coming in as well. Mr. Sareen, your first up reaction on the India Today exclusive investigation and how Europe needs to realize what they have really done. The actions are here for all to see.
So I think at the very outset, compliments to Ankit and to India Today for this expose and this investigative story. And I think we need to do many more such stories. But whether it will wake up the rest of the world to Pakistan's shenanigans, I am a little doubtful on that.
Why do you say so?
Now, I say that because, look, we have known that the Jaish-E-Mohammed, for example, in this specific case, it's an organization to which nothing has happened. There has been no action taken against them. The Pakistanis have always claimed that they don't know where the Jaish-E-Mohammed leadership is. They've allowed them to continue with their recruitment, with their infrastructure, all of that unhindered. And yet, the FATF thought it fit to take Pakistan out of the grey list. So clearly there is something wrong with the Western world, which never stops pontificating, which never, stops.
Very interesting point, Sushant. Ankit, who has done this investigation, also is with us on the broadcast, and he's got several questions for you as well. Ankit, would you like to take over?
Mr. Shireen, what do you think is the role of United States should be? Because Jaish-E-Mohammed has been sanctioned by the UNSC because it has been linked to Al-Qaeda. What do you think the United States role should be? Because the next 9/11, if it happens, this time the US cannot blame any non-state actors. It is happening, it is because FATF has now let organizations such as JEM off the hook. They are now free to collect funds from using bank accounts.
Ankit, you might find my answer cynical, but it's based on realism. The United States, if something untoward happens in the US, they will still blame, non-state actors, and they will still carry on their own litany of complaints against these terror groups. But as long as it does not affect them, as long as they think that they can walk that tightrope, they will continue to pay lip service to the cause of counter-terrorism. They will continue to pay lip service to countering violent extremism, to countering organizations like the Jaish-E-Mohammed and others. They'll even impose sanctions on them. But beyond that, we don't expect the United States or any other Western country, European country to do anything about it, because they think that as long as it does not affect them directly, it's not terrorism. We've seen that in the past, we are seeing it right now, we will see it in the future. And I think there is a cynical calculation when countries around the world look at terrorism. What affects them is terrorism, what does not affect them are either strategic assets, as in the case of Pakistan, or, it's a matter of convenience to be used as per their requirement. So, frankly, that is the only realistic answer I can give to your question.
And Mr. Sarin, how does it reflect on this new narrative that is being pushed in the diplomatic circles that there used to be an old establishment in Pakistan, now there is a new establishment? How does it reflect on this theory?
Ankit, that theory is a completely fallacious theory. It's a fake theory. It holds absolutely no water. There is an establishment in Pakistan. There is a continuity in the establishment in Pakistan. An old scoundrel makes way for a new scoundrel, and that is the sum and substance of what the Pakistani establishment is. Nothing ever changes. What might change is for tactical reasons and reasons of exigencies. There might be a change in style. There might be a change in some minor adjustments might be made. But in terms of the larger strategy or the paradigm, the establishment's paradigm has not changed one little bit. So anybody in India or anywhere outside the world who thinks that, okay, now the Pakistani establishment is not going to flirt with terrorism is living in cloud cuckoo land. Anybody who thinks that the Pakistani establishment is not going to interfere in Pakistani politics does not know his backside from his front. Anybody who thinks that the Pakistani establishment is actually interested in geo-economics and improving relations with India needs to get his head examined. Because nothing of that sort is there on the anvil. There is absolutely no sign of that happening. We might, see some nice statements come out. We might see an odd overture here and there. We might see some, minor adjustments being made. For example, the ceasefire will continue because it serves Pakistan's interest as well. But beyond that, if you think that Pakistan is going to end the infrastructure of terrorism, it will end its addiction to jihadism, I'm afraid that's not going to happen.
So, Mr. Sareen, final question. Where does this leave India? We cannot rely on the West, we cannot rely on the US particularly for sanctioning or at least blacklisting Pakistan, while we can establish that terror funding is being active against India by banned groups such as Jaish-E-Mohammed. Where does this leave India diplomatically?
I think it leaves India where India was always, for the last 30, 40 years, ever since this scourge of terrorism has affected us. Again, for tactical reasons, we might find, some countries coming on our side, and then there will be readjustments and realignments, and those countries will probably not pay as much attention as they should, which basically means that you have to have your own, national systems to counter terrorism, both within the country and outside the country, number one. Number two, I think to some extent the government of India and the Indian state and even the Indian media to some extent has been remiss in ignoring this phenomena, has been remiss in exposing Pakistan. And I think that is why, all compliments to you and India Today for this investigative story, because we need many more stories like this to expose Pakistan before the rest of the world, as also expose them in front of our own people. Because, there is a class of people even within this country who actually buy whatever snake oil the Pakistanis sell us. So I think it's yeoman service what you and your organization have done by highlighting this story and bringing it out in the public.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Sareen, for joining us on this broadcast. And Ankit, once again, congratulations for that fabulous investigative report. We'll continue to get you every aspect of it. And Ankit will keep joining us to get us more and expand on this story. In fact, we have Foreign Minister Dr. Jaishankar, who has called out Pakistan and support for terror and the United Nations. Listen in.
If my memory serves me right, Hillary Clinton was visiting Pakistan, Islamabad. And Hina Rawani Khan was a minister at that time, and I think standing next to her, Hillary Clinton actually said that if you have, I'm giving you the sense, it's not an exact quote, that if you have snakes in your backyard, you can't expect them to bite only your neighbors. Eventually, they will bite the people who keep them in the backyard. But as you know, Pakistan is not great on taking good advice. And you see what's happening there.